So the Rams, they went up to San Francisco and they absolutely beat down the 49ers. The 49ers up, they got a late touchdown with George Kittle to make it a 42-26 game, but that was a beatdown. And I know there was probably a lot of fans at that game, probably a lot of 49ers fans at that game that said, hey, at least we won the World Series, right? Of course, I'm only kidding. Because there's a lot of 49ers, a lot of 49ers Dodgers fans out there. But yesterday, we saw a Rams team that has a quarterback playing at an MVP level. And Matthew Stafford is showing at age 37 that even with the back injury early on in the year, that he's still playing at an elite level. He still can lead this Rams team to a Super Bowl. And we're talking about a Rams team that's 7-2. That's a couple of bad special teams away from being an undefeated team heading into a matchup with the Seattle Seahawks. And yesterday proved that, hey, Kyle Shanahan and this 49ers team, they're not the juggernaut that they once were. And yes, you're missing Fred Warner. You're missing a lot of key guys. Nick Bosa's out. There's a lot of that, and that's 100% true. But I don't think this is a Rams team that fears the 49ers. They're not a team that views the 49ers as a team that is in their way as they pursue another Super Bowl. And I think the first big takeaway yesterday, the Rams came out with purpose. I mean, when the Rams played the 49ers back on week 5, I mean, it was like they weren't even ready to play. They came out lackadaisical. There wasn't a spark. That was not the case on Sunday. The Rams came out with energy. They came out with purpose. They led 21-0 before you could even blink. And this was a game that the Rams knew they were better than the 49ers. They knew they had to win that game, and they did that. And the biggest reason why was Matthew Stafford. Now, I know there's other candidates out there, and you look at the MVP odds in the NFL right now, Matthew Stafford's name is going up because Drake May was the sexy pick for a little while, Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes. But as of today, according to FanDuel, Matthew Stafford, my preseason pick, Matthew Stafford has the best odds to win the NFL MVP. And he was balling. I mean, he absolutely was. Threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, all 4 touchdowns to different Rams receivers and tight ends. And now he's 6-3 on the road, 0 picks. He has 22 touchdowns since his last interception. That's the longest streak in NFL history behind the 26 for Tom Brady. He also entered that 400 touchdown club. And on the season, he has 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The only other quarterback to do that through their team's first 9 games was Patrick Mahomes in 2020. 25 tutties to 2 picks. He's playing some of the best football. No, check that. He is playing the best football of his career. He's getting better every week. He's gone 6 straight games without an interception. That's the longest streak of his career. And it's not like they're hiding him. It's not like they're playing conservative football. They are throwing the football all around. You're seeing special throws. The tight ends are getting involved. Davante Adams is a great red zone threat. Puka Nacua established himself as the top 3 to 5 receiver in the sport. And I'm telling you right now, Matthew Stafford is on a mission to win the MVP, to win the Super Bowl, and get into the Hall of Fame. Here, check out Matthew Stafford after the game. Hitting that. Let's check that one out first.
Yeah, I mean, I was
look at the shimmy.
I got hit on that one pretty good, so I had to shake that one off a little bit. But no, it was. I don't know, man. Like I said, I have fun out there. I lose my mind when we score touchdowns. I don't think about it. A lot of these guys are in the locker room pregame prepping what kind of dance they're going to do if they score a touchdown. I just go out there and play, and whatever comes to me comes to me.
Hold up. Did he hit that? Did he hit that shimmy? Is it because he was up in the Bay Area where Curry plays that he was hitting that shimmy? Kind of reminded me of the Shaq gif. You know, he's hitting that. How do you guys think about my shimmy, man? I don't know. My shimmy's kind of like, got to get these shoulders loosened up. But yeah, I mean, that tells you he's having fun. That tells you that he is, he's out there doing his thing and he's having a good time. And then he also talked after the game about just this win and join that 400 touchdown club.
No, I didn't know that either. That's the one, huh? Yeah, I mean, unlike a lot of the other ones that I throw, I feel like on the run and scrambling around, usually in the pocket somewhere. But no, that's awesome. It's super cool. I say it all the time, but I'm just such a huge fan of the NFL. I have so much respect for the guys that came before me and played before me, and you know what this league means, and you know to be able to reach milestones like that. It's a ton of people involved. You know, it's not just myself throwing touchdowns. It's a whole team in a bunch of different places. Obviously, a couple different cities, a couple different franchises. So it means a lot to be a part of the history of the NFL and be able to play it for as long as I've been able to. I don't take that for granted. No, I didn't know that either. That's the one, huh?
So Stafford, he's having this incredible year, right? And I remember before the season, there was this debate. Should Matthew Stafford be a Hall of Famer? Should Matthew Stafford be a Hall of Famer? And there were some people that said that he shouldn't have been. They think that, one ring is not enough. One ring is not enough. And the fact that he doesn't have all pros throughout his career. And that, hey, maybe he's in the Hall of Really Good. Are you kidding me? You got to be joking. I mean, he's just the 9th player in NFL history to throw for 400 or more touchdowns. I mean, the counting stats are there, and the overall success that he's had with the Rams kind of, I think, will help him too, because there's a Pro Football Reference Hall of Fame monitor, and it's a metric designed to estimate a player's chances of making the Pro Football Hall of Fame using AV and Pro Bowls and All Pros and championships and all these stat milestones. And the players listed below are the top top ones that have the best chance of making the Hall of Fame, right? And anytime that you're a lock, I mean, you're looking at 100 being average. Well, you've got Brady at 263, Peyton Manning at 257, Aaron Rodgers at 192. So you look at Hall of Fame quarterbacks, the average is 108. And before last season, his was at 79.01. So that is kind of wild when you think about kind of where he's at as far as his Hall of Fame chances. But I think that number is going to go up significantly. I really do. You look at the Hall of Fame monitor right now. Like I said, Brady, 263, Manning, 257. Let's see where Stafford is now. So Stafford now is at 86. He's at 86. That's behind Eli Manning, Kurt Warner, Dan Fouts, Roger Staubach. You need to go up on that list. But I mean, I look at a guy like Warren Moon, right? Warren Moon's in the Hall of Fame, and he had a 71 on the Hall of Fame monitor. So I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he should have been the Super Bowl MVP in 2021, and they went to Cooper Kupp. But no, he wins an MVP. He wins on the Super Bowl. He's 100% lock. I think he even gets in now. But the point is, he's got purpose, and that purpose is he wants to win another championship to truly solidify his career and cement the gold jacket for him to get into Canton. Now, let's hear Sean McVey talk about his quarterback.
He's been awesome, Gary. He's just been total command. It's a continuation of a guy that really works, his tail off throughout the course of the week. He uses the accumulation of knowledge and experience, and then he's just playing really confident. It looks like the game is really in slow motion to him right now. And the best thing about him is he's so humble. But we're really grateful to be able to have him leading the way. He instills a belief every time that he's at the switch for us, and guys play well around him. You want to do right by him. He makes me a better coach, and certainly don't take for granted how lucky I am to be able to work with him, and I know our team feels the same way.
I see some comments here. BC, LA about to have 3 MVPs, Shohei, Stafford, and Luka. That's the comment of the show. And I would love that. Luka's my MVP pick for the Lakers. Shohei's going to win MVP. Stafford's my MVP pick for the NFL. I'm pretty much a living, breathing, biased LA fan, I guess, apparently. But look at this, 72. Garibay says, I'm a Dodgers Raiders fan. LOL. Look, we'll talk some Raiders on the show because there's a lot of Raiders fans in LA. look, your team's your team, and the Raiders played here for a long time. I'm not mad at that. BC, 2020s Dodgers greater than the 2010s Giants. Sounds like a good segment I'll bring on this show. And absolutely, when it comes to top-end talent, there's no doubt about that. I totally agree. I totally agree. All right, so other takeaways from the Rams game. We'll talk other NFL too in a second here. Is Davante Adams really stood out. Davante Adams has a touchdown in each of his last 3 games. He had one against the 49ers. He's becoming more than just a red zone threat. You're seeing them connect and make plays in other places. And I looked at some of those plays yesterday, and what you love about Davante Adams is he can beat you in one-on-ones. He can get in and out of his breaks, but also you're seeing him kind of build that downfield, kind of middle of the football field chemistry with Matthew Stafford. It was always a matter of time, right? He's too good. He's too talented to not have more production with Matty Stafford. It took almost half the year, but we're now seeing that, hey, Davante Adams is starting to look like the Packers version of Davante Adams. He's got 9 touchdown receptions. That leads the NFL, and that's the most he's had in a season since he had 14 touchdowns in 2022. So the main thing for me with Davante Adams is, 1, we both have something in common. We both love Crunchwrap Supremes from Taco Bell. And 2, he's happy. He loves being a Ram. He loves being in LA, playing with a great organization, a great coach, a great quarterback. He looks completely re-energized and revitalized. Other takeaway, the Rams have a 2-headed monster in the backfield in Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. They combined for 27 carries for 129 yards, and that's a week after they went 38 carries for 172 yards. It's the 3rd straight game they both had 10 or more carries. Williams is still the main ball carrier, but you're seeing it get closer to 50-50. It's closer to 50-50 the last 3 weeks. And the Rams, you're having a rotation now. And I think the most important thing about this is you're seeing a fresher version of Kyren that they're going to need down the stretch and in the playoffs, because they're expected to have a deep run. But I look, too, at the differences between these two backs. And Corum, if you look at his big runs yesterday, those both were on wide zones. Those are both on outside zone concepts. That gives Corum the ability to run with that offensive line and just use his vision. I love the way he can cut back and make a guy miss with that vision. And Kyren, he's efficient on the inside. So now you got a dude in Kyren that can bust you in the inside. And then you got a Blake Corum that can hit you on the outside zone and make guys miss. So you got 2 great wide receivers in Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. You got 2 running backs that are now making their presence felt and bringing different dynamics to this offense. That's very key as well. And then how about the balance of this offense? Sean McVey, the 13 personnel. And what's 13 personnel? Well, that's where you have more tight ends into the mix. And 13 personnel is something that I know that Sean McVey has been interested in for a long time, but he just never had the personnel to do 13 personnel. When you have 13 personnel, it's 1 running back, 3 tight ends, and 1 wide receiver. Typically, he's at 11 personnel, right? That's how he made his bones, where you've got 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. Now you're seeing multiple tight end sets. And on Sunday, they used 13 personnel 44.8% of the time against the 49ers. And they've used 13 personnel on 97 plays in their last 4 games. Just to give you an idea how much more they're using 13 personnel, is he's used it just 84 times in his first 137 games. And they've used it 97 times in the last 4. So 84 in his first 137 games, and then 97 in his last 4 games. So tight end is becoming part of the identity of this Rams offense, with Terrence Ferguson and Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen. All those guys made plays, and what that does is it opens things up for the offense, where you're seeing Davante Adams and Puka Nacua get less. They're always going to be the main guys they're going to lead on, but there's an element that's opening it up for them. And you're also seeing the goal line too. If you want to double Davante Adams, they'll just run it. If you want to give him single coverage, they'll go to him. So there's just a lot for guys to plan for. And you saw Robert Saleh, when they cut to him yesterday, he had no answers. He didn't know what to do because there's not a lot on film. So Sean McVey is the most brilliant overall coach in this game when it comes to culture and getting guys to buy in. And Kyle Shanahan always gets the credit for being the offensive guru, which he is. But McVey changes the game. McVey changed the game with 11 personnel, and he's changed the game again with 13 personnel. Matthew Stafford has completed a pass to 8 different players yesterday, and he's throwing all guys around. I mean, he's balanced. You're seeing more guys involved. And on top of that, you're seeing balance from the running game. So you got the balance of the running game with Corman and Kyron. You got balance on the passing game. It's going to keep guys fresh. It's going to make it impossible for teams to stay in their base defense. It's going to limit defense's playbook. So credit to Sean McVay for evolving and finding the next chapter in his career. And here was Sean McVay talking about the Rams' big win up in San Francisco.
I think you really just kind of answered it with the question. I liked the way that we responded. And, there was a bunch of big plays. I thought Puka was awesome on a couple of the screens. The 4th down and 3 was a big play to allow us to then be able to hit Davante on the touchdown. And, just really overall, I just really like the resolve of this group. There's a resilience. There's a mental toughness. There's an ability to be able to respond. We always talk about being able to respond, not react. Thought we stayed steady. And then I thought the defense did an excellent job as well, making the stops when they had to. What a cool job. Emmanuel Forbes gets another pick on a 4th down. And, it's awesome just to be able to see guys celebrate each other's successes. One of the things that I think good teams do, they celebrate each other's successes. There's an enjoyment for other successes. There's an enjoyment for staying connected through the different ebbs and flows that a game entails. And I love this football team, love this group. And like I mentioned, excited to be able to build with them.
There's Sean McVay. And, hey, we're going to do a ranking of the top LA coaches this week. And spoiler alert, he's going to be right at the top. He's going to be right at the top. Dave Roberts, J.J. Redick, Sean McVay's that guy. And a couple more things about this game. The kicking game, they've struggled with kicking. You went Sixers first 6 with my favorite nickname in all of sports right now, the thicker kicker with Harrison Mevis. My man sitting 5'11", 245. And the Rams also punted from their own 41. And it wasn't a great overall special teams game, but we'll still see the kicking game get tested. But the biggest takeaway is, look, they controlled Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had 2.5 yards per carry. And the game was put into Mac Jones' hands. And the Rams said, hey, we're going to bet on our offense versus their offense. And it worked. And the Rams played mistake-free football. They created a couple turnovers on defense. This is exactly what you need to control this game. And every time the 49ers threw a punch in the second half, the Rams, they threw a punch back. And they answered every time they were tested. And this isn't when they need it. The Rams are now in a really good position if you can beat Seattle and if you can beat the Bucs. The Rams are now 1-1 in the NFC West. They're not going to get swept by the 49ers. Division wins are never easy on the road. And the Rams, they absolutely came in locked in. And I think they're right up there for best teams in the NFL right now. I really do. The Rams and the Seahawks, that's going to be an electric showdown. Because the Seahawks, at one point yesterday, the Seahawks, or the Sea Chickens, as I call them, they were up 35-0 when the Rams were up 21-0. And that's going to be an absolute showdown. Both teams at 7-2. The Rams have a point differential of plus 98. The Seahawks at 103. So, we'll do some previews. We'll talk a lot about that. But, hey, Rams are rolling. All right, switching gears to the Lakers.